you're not dictating my life to me, and you're not telling me how this goes, right? And I know Rachel get me a little bit riled
Yes.
up, but that was really it. There was like this
Yeah.
toxic pressure on every freaking side.
If you are someone who has struggled to represent yourself truly the way you want to online, I know it's been a difficult journey for me, not only as a woman, but as a person in the LGBTQ plus community. Oh, so many things included in that journey. But if you're struggling on any level, either as just yourself in a personal realm or even in a business realm, to represent yourself on social media the exact way that you want to, then I want to empower you to stay for today's show, because like I say all of the time, it will be so kick-ass. Now, I want to tell you, whether you're a part of the LGBTQ plus community or not, you will be inspired and empowered by the show. I just want to welcome you to another episode of Road to Radical Visibility. I am your host, Rachel Freemon Sowers, also known as the Breakthrough Bitch, because I am passionate about helping people in the LGBTQ plus and female communities just to become more bold in their passions, in their life, and in their businesses. Really being able to be 100% themselves 100% of the time, no shame or guilt needed. This is my mission, so you better be ready to hear all about it. I am so excited for my guest today. I gotta take a breath. I'm like all warmed up here. I'm like so excited. Okay, so I just want to introduce my guest. He is my very good friend, the first male I've ever had on the Road to Radical Visibility show. We have known each other for almost 2.5 years. Now, we've not only known each other for 2.5 years, but we have been accountability partners. And this started with literally, I mean, Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, but like a 30-second interaction at a function. What was that? Like a James Wedmore thing. And we were at his event, and you know, we just said hello to each other. And then all of a sudden, Eric posted in a Facebook group. He's like, hey, I'm really looking for an accountability partner. And what did I do? Well, I decided to respond because I knew in my heart something was there. We've been accountability partners, practically meeting every single week for the last 2.5 years. And I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to have you on my show. Thank you for being here, friend.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Our introduction was pretty funny. Well, like what you said, it was just a few seconds, and then from there I threw that out on Facebook, and literally nobody responded, nobody. And then all of a sudden, if you remember, this is kind of embarrassing, but when we started as accountability partners, I said, well, I had a little fear, I was like, well, let's try 30 days. Let's see how it goes, and we can get out of this, if it's not working, you know what I mean? No, it was just boom, hit the jackpot.
Well, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but that event was the moment I decided to stop playing around and to truly become radically visible to myself and then to other people. And, let's just be real. Eric and I were like, yes. Eric was like, let's try 30 days. And I'm like, sure, that fits me. These are like expectations. Okay. These are like, we started out all like that. And now we're just like, literally, we WhatsApp each other parts of our lives. And the relationship, I mean, buddy, I love you. And we've gone on vacation together, which was freaking phenomenal. Just FYI, we did a little karaoke, Eric and I, and we did the YMCA at the resort in Mexico. We killed it.
We brought down the place. Literally. We did. We killed it.
No one was standing. We were all dancing. It was just like insane. Okay. But the real reason I have Eric on here is the reason I have every guest on here is to inspire all of you to start becoming radically visible to yourself first and then to others. So the first question I ask every single one of my guests is, what does radical visibility mean to you?
For me, radical visibility means, I kind of think of it as a coin with two sides. And the first side is acceptance. So accepting who you are, your life experiences. And not only, to get to radical visibility, it really has to be radical. acceptance. It's not something generic, superficial, but it's kind of a deep, I feel this in my heart, I get this in my bones. And for me, once that foundation is in place, from my experience, that then set me up to be the other side of the coin, which is what I would call expression. So expressing myself, being radically visible, and like you say, just literally being yourself 100% of the time. And for me, especially not getting emotionally hijacked with people's expectations, or how is this supposed to look? What are the rules I'm supposed to follow? How the, da 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 da.
Right.
As if life is just one big, to-do list where we check things off boxes. So for me, that's really what it has been. It's been the radical acceptance, and then the radical expression, and being radically visible.
Well, and if we take that back to the topic that we're going to talk about today, and we talk about representing ourselves on social media, we talk about not only as an entrepreneur, right, but even in our personal life, how we hold back so many things of our truest selves because maybe it's not acceptable, or maybe that's not how we're supposed to do it. We were talking earlier before we started the show, about how IG profiles, LinkedIn profiles, all of these profiles are supposed to represent us. But really, how do we do that in the deepest way? And you're right, we have to recognize and be radically accepting of ourselves, and being courageous enough to put that out there, which is in the expression, right? And it's a really beautiful process. I know that you've gone through your own metamorphosis, transformation in your life, especially when it comes to being a part of the LGBTQ plus community. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So growing up, I was super talented at being repressed. Crazy talented, right? At being repressed. Not. Yeah. I just want to tell everyone that's not really a talent that you want. And so there was a lot of repression. There was a lot of, I would say, not listening to myself, or not valuing myself enough to listen to myself, to my heart. Maybe even not enough valuing myself to, explore myself. Like, what do I like in terms of anything? What are my dreams? What do I want to see happen with my life? And so the background was a lot of repression. Kind of my script that I was running from childhood was be quiet and be a good boy. Don't cause any trouble, right? And
sound familiar, anybody?
Right.
Just saying.
And really, on many levels, I had a fantastic childhood, incredible parents, wonderful experiences, and yet there was still a lot of repression, a lot of being out of alignment or misalignment with myself that continued well into my 20s and beyond. And I would say there's also, maybe we'd call it religious trauma, cultural, what would we call it? Maybe cultural baggage. Like, this is just how things are, period.
A social construct.
And so, exactly, yes. And so, stepping outside of that and breaking away from it, you definitely set yourself up for whatever it is: discrimination, complaints, judgments, all of that sort of stuff. And at the same time, like what you had shared with me was, well, how can people truly love me if they don't truly know me? But that was a lot of the things going on behind the scenes, a lot of just follow the rules, be a good boy, don't speak up. And so I don't know if I would call it breaking away from it or some kind of like violent action, but it was just, no thanks. That's not for me. I'm going over here. There's what the real.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the real me is over here, and that's where I'm going.
It's that tension, right? It's that tension we feel constantly pulling us or hitting. It's like butting heads, right? And it's like, no, like, this is how I want to really be. The truest parts of us are saying, don't cover me up, don't cover me up. Or they're saying, like, get this crap off of me, right? The social constructs, the religious trauma, the whatever, the expectations, all of those things, right?
Right.
And then there's a part of you that says, no, stay the same. No, stay small. No, we can't do that. No, like that fear and anxiety that plays. And I know that for you recently, you did go through this kind of tension and then finally decide, like, no, thank you. Like, I'm going to break free from that and become radically visible to myself and have that radical acceptance. Like, what was that for you? Because it wasn't that long ago, to be completely honest.
Right. Well, years ago, the whole journey of, okay, am I gay? What's going on here? There's layers of that. And then when I moved to Phoenix, it was just, okay, I'm going to live as myself, a gay man here in the community, all that good stuff. And that was fine. And of course, Phoenix, very gay friendly place. And then, but there was still the element where I didn't come out on social media, online in any way. And of course, what you get even with that was, if you come out, you're going to lose clients. Or, you shouldn't come out because it will hurt your family. It'll make the family look bad. It will, and I almost see like this infinity of excuses and reasons, right? And so there was like all this, don't do this stuff. And then on the other end, I want to paint an accurate picture. There was also on the other end of the spectrum a pressure to come out, almost like a bullying or a manipulation, where you need to come out because you're not in integrity, or you're lying to everyone in your life, so it's like these opposite ends of the spectrums. Don't do it, or do it because the reasons I'm giving you. And so it really does take a lot of it's almost kind of like you just take a deep breath. Okay, I'm just going to check in with myself and see how I feel about this. Because while I can say I love and respect you both sides, you're not dictating my life to me. And you're not telling me how this goes, right? And I know, Rachel, get me a little bit riled up. But that was really it. There was like this toxic pressure on every freaking side. And it was just, you know what? I'm going to make my heart and my voice more important than yours. Why? Because it simply is. Like, I'm the only human being living in this body with this soul, with this heart, who gets to experience this life here right now. And so it was just like the weirdest, it's just like a toxic playground. Do you guys like work to make all this bullshit up? Like, what is going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was, as I'm laughing here, it was a bit painful navigating all of this. Unfortunately, I have had and have truly the best of the best people in my life who are close to me. And so just to be able to give myself that space and who am I? What do I want? And even when I would say, this is what's brewing, this is what's coming, it was, I'm not explaining that part well, but it was almost like, for example, once I was at the gym in Phoenix. We're doing this like crazy class with all these weights, just all this stuff and all this techno music. And literally I started tearing up because it hit me. I'm really close to, it's time to come out to my sister, and I'm really close to it. And I just know it. And so I couldn't have produced that. I couldn't have predicted it. And it's not something like to plan or to strategize, but here I am, Rachel, and then I'm like tearing up as we're all like doing these weights, right? But I've also found that like it's those moments where, okay, this is the voice that I want to be in tune with, like this right here. Because even in October, I had spoken to my parents maybe a month or two before and said, hey, I'm getting older and I've decided I'm going to come out. Like, I'm not editing my pronouns. I'm not changing my language for anybody because it is exhausting and it's taking its
Mhm.
toll on my mental health. And so I lovingly, that's probably the big thing to know with this conversation. I lovingly talk to them about this,
Mhm.
respectfully and with love, um, and also while loving myself and respecting myself.
Mhm.
So I wasn't diminishing myself or them, you know. And then that day, Rachel was just, I think I maybe sent you a text and said, hey, I just came out on Facebook. And I
Yep, that's
was
how it
not
happened.
planning, that was not a plan, like at all.
Mhm.
It was literally, I saw some post that said, today's National Coming Out Day. And I just felt like, you know what? Why not today? Why
Mhm.
not? It's time. I feel clear about this in my heart. There you go.
Yeah. If any of our listeners are struggling with any of the things that we're talking about, again, in regards to the LGBTQ plus community, there are pressures from both sides. And, I truly also believe that when you're in that workout class, your body needed to release that tension. It needed to release, it had to have some movement for the knowing to come to the surface, right? As you know, I use a lot of movement and things with my clients, but it very much moves this energy in the body. And to have you tuning in, some of our audience may not really know what that looks like or what that means. And if you don't know what that looks like or means for you, it's okay. There's resources. Of course, you can check out my YouTube channel. But other than that, like, it is more like showing this loving compassion to yourself. And really, like you had said, the first part of that coin is this radical acceptance that this doesn't mean anything about me. This means that this is my truest self, and I want to honor my truest self. So it was such a joy to watch this process. I feel so honored to like support you in that process and just be with you as a friend, and as my buddy, and watching all of your thought processes and things like that you went through, and really surrounding yourself with people that can actually help you know what you truly want to do and support you in that, independent of what they think, or like, it's not their opinion, it's they're there purely supporting you. And if we can kind of switch into how we do that as part of the LGBTQ plus community and entrepreneurs, how we do that, and adding pronouns to our signatures if we want, or anything like that, how we represent ourselves in these spaces so that we can truly be an unedited, this is the key, like, unedited version of ourselves. Every single time I go to post on social media and I have a thought that maybe I shouldn't say that, then I say it. Because it comes from deep inside. Like, it's about being radically visible to myself and acknowledging that I say that. So, coming out it's kind of like you do this thing on social media too. You're inviting people into your world. And if they don't want to come in, that's fine. You're not waiting for them to say whether I like you or whether I don't, and I'm rejecting you. So if we think of this as LGBTQ plus entrepreneurs, right? Or even how we want to, if you're not part of that community, but how you want to represent yourself. Tell us what that's like, because this is what you help people do.
Right. I think there are a lot of business owners and where they have their profiles, they're on social media, and yet I've seen this so much over the past decade. They'll say, well, I have my profile, but it doesn't feel right, or something's off,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
it talks about me, but it's not me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely an art and a science to this. What I
Mm-hmm.
do know is anytime we do this transformation of taking for example, a LinkedIn profile and basically bringing it to life, it instantly, like, it levels up their business. It's like they have this newfound energy around it. And of course, when that happens, then they're more, you just, whenever this happens, it's like, um, it elevates the entire thing. And this could
Right.
literally be, it could be a new website, it could be new headshots, it could be, you know, so many things. It's a huge combination of
Hmm.
what goes into each of our businesses. But anytime when they say something like this profile, like this is me, all of a sudden they're energized about the platform. They feel better
Hmm.
about putting out the content because anytime you're putting out content, you know, people who are interested, um, they're generally going to click over to your profile. And literally, I would say, I don't have any researched stats on this, but for me, it's about 3 seconds. Like, if there's not something there that intrigues me, that draws me in more within 3 seconds, then I'm probably going to click away, right?
Hmm.
And so I think more and more we are seeing that business owners, they want to be fully self-expressed, not only in person, not only on video calls, but also in their content and on their
Hmm.
profiles. Even one of my clients, she's just so amazing. And this year has been transformative for her. But she just literally said, Eric, this is who I am. I do this, I do that, I cuss, and da 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 da. And and it was just, all right, good. Like,
Hmm.
be yourself, fully show up as yourself. And she actually
Hmm.
even got new headshots, and it was just, who is this woman? Oh my goodness, like it just you could feel the actually what it is you could see and feel the inner work that she had
Hmm.
done because now it was expressed and now it was visible.
Right. And I think that that's like the part that, as you know me, I'm about like the deeper stuff. It's not just the surface, right? And it's about how when you generate that energy, you truly are showing up in this more beautiful, expansive, curious, adventurous, excited, all of the things that almost give you this renewed passion for yourself. And if, you know, as a business owner, it's important, but even as a professional, if you're on LinkedIn as a professional, it is so important to be like, hey, to fully represent ourselves without any fear, without any shame. Because when we do that, people come and they'll come to you like it's like an immediate attraction, right? It's those moments when you're like, and again, it's not, there's no fear of rejection or I'm not good enough to be hired by you. Like, that's not it at all. I'm not good enough for you to hire me in my business. Nope. If it's a fit, please come in. And if it's not, that's totally fine too. That's the beauty of diversity, right? There's
Right.
tons of other people that are able to help you, but trusting this process. And I think that's what you help people do is just trusting the process of this, like attraction and this calling in, right? And it's not
Exactly.
just like, oh, I'm going to put the energy. Well, some people may think so. This is just my opinion. I'm not just going to be like, okay, I'm going to put this up here and hope someone notices. No, it's like, I'm a participant. I'm a participant in this. And I want to invite people in, right? It takes some of that away. I think also when you do this kind of work, because you've done your own work, is why you can help people so dramatically and instantly, right?
Absolutely. Right. Totally. Yeah. Because I could say all these things of, I've had this social media market agency for 10 years. I have an MBA in
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship. I've ghostwritten 2 books. I've written a curriculum. I've done blah, 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 blah. And all that's great. And it probably wouldn't really get there all the way yet without the stuff, what would you call it? The inner struggles,
Mm-hmm.
that the greeting each struggle with compassion and even just saying, I see this and I'm going to walk through this. Like
Mm-hmm.
I outlived this struggle, like I'm bringing more to the table. I'm going to transcend this, whatever that struggle would be. So
Mm-hmm.
And you know what it's like, Rachel, when someone has really gone through um, inner struggles, battles,
Hmm.
turmoil, whether from any type of variety of what would you call it? Any type, whether it was, chronic pain, mental health, um,
Hmm.
inner, outer, family stuff, religion, anything,
Yeah.
you can feel the depth of who they are just when you're around them.
Hmm.
Like this person has
Hmm.
truly overcome a lot. You know what I mean? And so I
Yeah.
think while there's copywriters and you know, uh, countless people who will write your profiles and all that. I think what I really enjoy is just digging in a
Mm.
light-hearted and serious and exploratory way, and just really looking at what's everything on the table. How do we maximize this to look like you, to feel like you?
Hmm.
And while there are these like components of the technical pieces. Why are we using this word? What's the structure? Is this friendly layout? Is it eye friendly? Is it reader friendly? All that. There's also the
Hmm.
art of, yeah, but what makes you you? Because that's what's really interesting. Let's bring out your
Right.
soul in this. Let's bring out your passion in this. And that's when your profiles hit this whole new level. And I really think it does, like I said, it propels you. It just elevates the energy in your business
Hmm.
across the board.
Yeah. So anyone that wants to know, I'm going to have Eric do my profile because it sucks right now. Just because I met time I was like, hey, buddy, I'm going to hit you up to pay you to do my profile. So we've talked about so many different things. Like we've gone on this journey about your own radical visibility. We've gone through you witnessing other people going through some level of radical visibility and how you help them do that, specifically in LinkedIn profiles. And I know that when you provide someone with a LinkedIn profile, they can use it across all of their social media platforms. So it's not just like one thing, but really it's about how do you show up in every single place you want to show up as you, right? And I will shamelessly plug your LinkedIn profile. What do you want to call it? I don't know what to call it.
Probably LinkedIn
Uh,
profile optimization. Yeah,
See, there you go.
which is kind of a fancy technical word. So most people think of it as we do all the technical pieces to help you with visibility, coming up in search and all that. And really there's a layer though that is focused on you, your
Mhm.
authenticity, expressing yourself, all that. And but yeah, I would say optimization.
Yeah. And again, this isn't, I wanted to come to this interview and this sharing of this episode in a different way. Eric, if you are struggling with your LinkedIn profile, if you're struggling with your profiles everywhere else, Eric can definitely help you. But this is just one small piece of what he gets to offer, because there's always so much more to a person than exactly whatever service you're offering. And how you go about that, how Eric goes about that is 100% authentic and is well balanced, like he's saying. It's the same thing with me using neuroscience and movement and trauma work, all those things with the people that I work with about being radically visible to themselves and then to everybody else, right? And so I just want to thank you for being here. But before we end, I'd love for you to tell people where they can find you. If you struggle to find him, please DM me and I will give you all of the links. They'll also be listed in the comments below and in the podcast, in those comments in the podcast too. But tell us where people can find you.
Yeah, on LinkedIn, you can search for me, Eric Z. Johnson. I will come up probably the first and perhaps the only one. And then ericzjohnson.com. All of my links are there. So wherever you would like to connect, we can do that. But even if you have exploratory questions or things
Mm-hmm.
like, here's where I'm at, what do you recommend?
Mm.
I would love to point you in the right direction.
So we'll make sure that we put the link below that's to the LinkedIn optimization, because I know that you do have a discovery call button if people are saying, hey, let's explore what this actually means for me. And you can click on that button. I just want to thank you so much again, Buddy, my friend, for being here on the road to radical visibility. Every single time we get to chat in accountability sessions and even here, it has been a remarkable process. I love you so much. And I will just end this video like I end every single video, saying, please make sure to stay true to yourself, be kind to others, and always, always, always honor the wise one that is within all of you. I'll see you on the next road to radical visibility. Until then, bye.